Ask Stago, the podcast dedicated to provide expert answers to your expert questions in coagulation. I'm Lisa Gannon, and I'm really glad to be here again to host this episode with Anne-Cécile Ortega. Today, we'll be diving into some of the latest trends and innovations shaping the laboratory industry, and we have a special guest with us, Emily Pullen. So, Emily, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for having me.
So, Emily, you're a product manager and you're in charge of the STA Workcell for the US, the North American market. So you're our perfect interlocutor for today's session. So let's jump to our first question. Emily, there's a lot happening from the expansion of larger labs to the emergence of new models like hub and spoke, lab chains and gigalabs. But what's driving these changes, and indeed, what do they mean for the future of lab operations?
Absolutely. The laboratory industry is indeed going through some transformative times. The push towards centralization and integration is largely driven by the need to control healthcare costs. With larger labs expanding and consolidating both horizontally and vertically, laboratories are under increasing pressure to hit productivity targets. Essentially, they need to improve workflow, reduce turnaround times, and meet the demands of clinicians while doing more with fewer resources.
And on top of that, there's also a reduction in the number of laboratory technicians, right?
Yes, that is a significant challenge. We're seeing fewer technicians in the workforce, and in many cases, they're being shared across different disciplines. This highlights the growing need for automation in labs, not just as a means to maintain efficiency, but also to uphold the quality of laboratory operations under these evolving conditions.
So that brings us to total lab automation, or TLA as it's more commonly known. Could you share your insights into the benefits and limitations of TLA?
Certainly. TLA is all about fully automating lab processes, which helps standardize turnaround times and saves a lot of time. It's flexible because of the module layout, allowing for integration of multiple disciplines within the same system. However, TLA isn't without its challenges. It can be quite costly, and it requires a significant amount of floor space. Plus, integration solutions may vary depending on the specific disciplines and analyzer providers involved.
Interesting. So what about front-end pre-analytical system? Do they offer a different approach?
They do. Front-end pre-analytical systems come with their own set of advantages, such as reducing non-value-added tasks, saving time, and enhancing user safety. They're also more flexible when it comes to installation, but they do have some limitations as well, like not being able to route samples directly to instruments and challenges to consistently standardize turnaround times.
So it sounds like each approach has its pros and cons. Now, I do understand that hemostasis presents some unique challenges. Could you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Hemostasis can be quite complex for labs. There's a growing number of citrate tubes required due to increased activity concentrations, which calls for specific centrifugation protocols. The workload is heavy, with high volumes of stat and reflex tests, along with frequent rerun and add-on requests. Plus, coagulation testing is particularly sensitive to transport time and temperature, which can complicate sample handling.
So, when you combine these challenges with total lab automation, what happens?
It can create workflow bottlenecks if it's not managed carefully. That's why there's a need for a dedicated work cell, such as Stago's STA Workcell Max, specifically designed for hemostasis testing. This ensures that labs can maintain optimal performance even as the complexities increase.
So let's talk about solutions now. You mentioned the STA Workcell Max earlier. What makes it stand out?
The STA Workcell Max is a truly comprehensive solution, offering modularity and versatility to meet the specific needs of each laboratory. The loading module, for instance, enables easy and continuous loading without barcode positioning. The system accepts standard plastic tubes from major suppliers and features a visual alarm device for user awareness with different colors indicating the system status.
And how does the centrifugation process work in this system?
The centrifugation is fully automated and dedicated for hemostasis. It covers loading, auto-balancing, and unloading of buckets in parallel, handling up to 80 samples per cycle. The system can achieve a high throughput, processing up to 320 tubes per hour with a 10-minute centrifugation protocol. Plus, the centrifuge settings for time, speed, and temperature can be adjusted automatically.
So I've heard that there's also smart rack preparation and exception handling. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Yes, the system includes smart rack preparation with barcode reading to determine routing rules based on the instrument status and test panels. For exceptions like poor barcode quality or no associated test requests, samples are sorted into a dedicated area. This ensures that any deviations from the norm are handled efficiently.
Sounds like a well-thought-out process. What about the system's integration with other instruments and modules?
The STA Workcell Max connects seamlessly with various Stago instruments, routing samples through long or short track modules. Considering an install base of more than 100 STA Workcell Maxes in just 4 years after the launch, we connect on average 3 Stago analyzers to STA Workcell Max, but we can connect more than that depending on the lab's need and the number of tubes per day. It even optimizes stat sample management by keeping a priority position available. The transfer module can be easily deactivated for maintenance or to load specialty samples without disrupting workflows. And last but not least, STA Workcell Max can be equipped with an output module that allows easy sample tube archiving at the end of the process.
So let's shift gears to the Stago Data Manager. How does it enhance the STA Workcell Max system?
The Stago Data Manager adds powerful piloting capabilities with a dedicated menu that provides an overview of module status, sample history, and an audit trail for all samples. Connectivity is a key feature, allowing multiple Stago instruments to be linked across different sites with no limit on the number of connections.
That's great for multi-site labs. How does the Stago Data Manager help with productivity and quality management?
It's built to optimize productivity by monitoring turnaround times and managing centralized quality control, including internal quality control and external quality assessment. The Stago Data Manager uses auto-validation features to standardize the verification process with algorithms that guide decision-making based on expertise, which adds to the accuracy and reliability of results.
So quality and compliance indeed are always top priorities. How does the system ensure that these standards are met?
The Stago Data Manager is designed to be cybersecurity compliant and includes tools to help with accreditation and certification processes. Its comprehensive audit trail keeps track of every sample and action taken, ensuring that labs meet quality and regulatory standards.
It sounds like a very versatile system. What about the ability to expand and adapt to changing lab requirements?
The system offers tailor-made configurations to fit specific workflow and space requirements, minimizing the need for costly lab modifications. It's designed with multiple expansion capabilities so it can grow and evolve alongside the lab's needs.
So to wrap things up, Emily, how would you summarize the impact of the STA Workcell Max on the modern laboratory?
Overall, the STA Workcell Max is a transformative solution crafted by coagulation experts for coagulation experts. Its module architecture provides a customizable setup that addresses today's needs while being flexible enough for future demands. The automation frees up skilled lab technologists to focus on more complex value-added tasks, ultimately streamlining processes, boosting productivity, and reducing errors. These benefits really translate into significant time and cost savings, improved service delivery, and better compliance with quality standards.
Thank you for your valuable insights. It's clear that lab automation goes beyond merely keeping up with industry trends. It's about driving more efficient and reliable and cost-effective lab operations. And that's exactly what the Stago STA Workcell Max system makes possible.
Absolutely. And it's an exciting time for laboratories to embrace these advancements. Thanks so much for having me on today's episode.
And with that, we wrap up today's episode. As usual, all literature sources and links to previous podcasts are listed in the podcast description box. And please do feel free to send us any questions that you may have to our email address at ask@stago.com. And do stay tuned for more discussions on innovative tools and practices in healthcare. Thank you for listening.
This podcast is brought to you by Stago. Diagnostics is in our blood.